horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. It's time to do another top 20 list. This time we're going to do the top 20 best vampire movies. Yes. Now, I've seen a couple of people do their top 20 best vampires movies of all time. I think Brad did one from Bronco Juggalos Talks Movies. I know Jen and Kristen did their one. And I'm pretty sure some other people do their one. I know Sean will be doing his as well. But this is going to be my top 20 vampire pictures. Remember, these are my top 20 vampire opinions. You might disagree with some of them. You might agree with them. But let's get on with my list. Coming in at number 20 will be The Hunger, starring David Bowie and Captain Nuff. Yes, it was a very interesting take on the vampires when I first saw this back in the early 80s. But that's coming in at number 20. Coming in at number 19, Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, the adaptation of Anne Rice's popular novel. We have Lestat and Louis. He's interviewed by Christian Slater, and Louis talks about his life before he became a vampire. When he met Lestat, Lestat turned into a vampire. All that nice, good stuff. Kristen Durst was when she first came into the scene as a kid. Very interesting take on a vampire scene, but coming in at number 20, Interview with a Vampire. Coming in at number 18, another different take called Daybreakers, where a plague turns people into vampires. And then we have Ethan Hawke and William Dafoe, where he actually starts as a vampire and he gets cured. Believe it or not, it's coming to the point where the vampires running out of humans to take. And we show how the survivors are trying to cure everybody. So I thought it was very interesting. So coming in number 18 is Daybreakers. Coming in at number 19, the original 1922 silent picture Nosferatu, where we had Count Orloff in that famous scene where he's about to bite his victim and the sun comes out and he simply disintegrates into nothingness. Very excellent horror film. Perhaps one of the first horror films that might have come out at that particular time. But coming at number 17, Nosferatu, the 1922 version. Coming in at number 16, yes, you knew this had to be on here, The Horror of Dracula, starring the late, great Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I believe this is Christopher Lee's first role as Count Dracula. A nice sort of Hammer version of Dracula, unlike the Universal Monsters version that came out. I thought it was a very fascinating film. Of course, Christopher Lee is just brilliant as Dracula. This actually started the Hammer Dracula series. So coming at number 16 is The Horror of Dracula. Coming in at number 15 is Blackula. Yes, the blaxploitation film that came out during the 70s. At this particular time, there were a lot of blaxploitation horror films. You had this one starring Fred Williamson as an African prince who runs afoul of Dracula. He bites him, he turns into a vampire. I thought it was fascinating. One of my favorite blaxploitation films that came out. I really enjoyed this one. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. They definitely check it out. So coming in at number 15, Blackula. Coming in at number 14, we have Dracula AD 1972. At this point, Hammer was losing its war, or losing in the horror industry, because a lot of horror at that time was becoming based on modern times, and horror was still basing their horrors in 16th and 17th century London. And a lot of people were getting stale with the Gothic style castles and the Gothic setting. So they decided to put Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in modern times in 72. I thought it was very interesting. It was an interesting take on Dracula at that particular time. So coming in at number 14, Dracula AD 1972. Coming in at number 13, you should be no surprise for me to have a bunch of the horror Dracula series on this list, and that's the second one will be, actually the third one will be Dracula Prince of Darkness. This time a London couple. We have two couples enter Count Dracula's castle. He's supposed to have died because this is supposed to be a sequel of the Horror of Dracula. Unfortunately, his servant kills one of the couple's husbands. He uses his blood to revive his master, and Dracula goes off to kill the rest of the people in his castle. He is killed by running water in this one, which I thought was a fascinating way to kill a vampire. But coming in at number 13 is Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Coming in at number 12, another of the Hammer Dracula series, Dracula has risen from the grave. This is one of my favorite of the Hammer Dracula series, and of course my favorite line: "Get that thing out of my sight!" I just love it. I just love it. That scene cracks me up. I can't help it. I just love that one. Dracula tries to get his revenge when he is risen from the grave. He tries to get his revenge on the Monsignor's niece. My revenge has been complete. So coming in at number 12, Dracula has risen from the grave. Coming in at number 11, we have, I would say, a very underrated vampire movie called Near Dark. In this one, we have a family of vampires. We have Lance Herkinson, we have Jeanette Goldstein from Aliens and Terminator 2. We have Bill Paxton in this one as well. It's about a family of vampires. We have Adrian Pasteur. He stars as a guy that runs afoul of this vampire family here. It's an interesting take on vampirism. I remember this one scene where the young kid is trying his best to run into the car before the sun destroys him. The sun destroys him. They're trying to get into the car where it's blacked out so the sun doesn't hit it. But if you haven't seen this one, definitely check this out. It is Near Dark. Coming in at number 10 as we get to my top 10. First of all, it's the Swedish vampire, Let the Right One In. I thought this was a very interesting take on vampires. And we have this kid, I can't remember his name, and a vampire girl. And they befriend one another. And this poor kid, he's being bullied to death by these stupid-ass kids. And of course, eventually they become real good friends. He eventually finds out she's a vampire. We have some good practical effects this one. I know there is an American version called Let Me In. And I actually, it's okay, but it's not as good as the Swedish version. So if you haven't seen this one, check it out. Coming at number 10, Let the Right One In. Coming at number 9, we have From Dusk Till Dawn. Yes, the one that stars George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez, if I remember that correctly. It's a very interesting take on vampires. We have the Gecko brothers who are trying to get to the Mexican border. They're trying to meet up with their friend in Tijuana. They run afoul of Harvey Keitel and his family of Juliet Lewis. They head down to this bar called I think it's called the Titty something. And unfortunately, it's a den full of vampires. And of course, we got Selma Hayek and that very sexy scene where she's dancing up a storm. They all turn into vampires. We have Tom Savini is in this one. Fred Williamson is this one as well. Very interesting vampire movie. Once again, coming at number 9, From Dusk Till Dawn. Coming at number 8, the reason why we have the MCU, it is Blade. Yes, Wesley Snipes stars as the Daywalker. Again, if it wasn't for Blade, we would not have the Spider-Man trilogy. We would not have the MCU. We have a very good, interesting vampire story right here. We have the Daywalker, a man who has all the abilities of a vampire and none of their weaknesses, other than the thirst that is trying to suppress. Very good story. Stephen Dorff is good as Deacon Frost. Night fight scene, great practical effects, and even the CGI is pretty good at times. But coming at number 8, we have Blade. Coming in at number 7, we have the Fright Night remake. Yes, the remake. I actually did like this one. When I was watching Lee's worst remakes video, he actually put this on his one because he did not like David Tennant's performance as Vincent Price. I mean, as Peter Vincent. Get that right. Peter Vincent, not Vincent Price. Now, I understand that Roddy McDowell's Peter Vincent was excellent, but I'm glad that when they cast David Tennant as Peter Vincent, he did not try to do the same thing what Roddy McDowell did. So, whether you like it or not, I still like the remake. I thought Ashton Yunchen, unfortunately, he's passed away right now. I thought he was good as Charlie. Colin Firth was good as Jerry Dandridge. I thought, like the whole cast, I liked the new way how they did Fright Night. It made it more of a horror picture because the original Fright Night, as good as it was a little bit on the lighter side as far as the horror is concerned. So coming at number 7, we have Fright Night. Coming in at number 6, we have Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes, Francis Ford Coppola's this is his interpretation of Bram Stoker's novel Dracula. Gary Oldman stars as Count Dracula. He does a very good job right there. Winona Ryder, she's okay. He's okay as Mina. Keanu Reeves, unfortunately, he can't fake a British accent if he tried. You gotta give him credit for trying though. But excellent practical effects, excellent soundtrack. If you haven't seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, please check it out. So coming in number 6 is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Coming at number 5, we have the original Fright Night. Yes, this one has Chris Sarandon, the original one playing the vampire Jerry Danridge. And I thought this was a nice horror movie that came out. I remember when I actually went to see it when it first came out in the movies. I actually enjoyed it. It was one of the better vampire films I had seen at the time. Great practical effects. Loved the actor who played Charlie, the next door neighbor. I can't remember the kid's name. But coming at number 5, we have Fright Night. Coming in at number 4, we have Universal Monsters Dracula. Yes, Bela Lugosi, perhaps one of the reasons why Dracula is such a popular character and became an icon. And it's probably one of the reasons why I actually love vampires as my favorite supernatural creature. His performance as Dracula is great. I never drink. Why? Or listen to them, the children of the night. What sneak music thing make? Yes, you can't. It's just incredible how he talks with that with his Hungarian accent. Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to see an old school, why the reason why I love old school horror movies, please check out Universal Monsters Dracula. If you haven't, that comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the sequel to Blade, Blade 2. Yes, this time we have the Reaper virus. We have something even worse than vampires. We'd have those Reaper vampires. That strain is incredible. I actually thought Billy Snipes did another excellent job. The practical effects and the fight scenes with the Reapers was great. Such great that final fight scene with the Reapers. I can't remember the bad guy's name. I don't know if it was a bad guy or not. I can't remember his name. I thought that was a great fight scene right there. One of the better fight scenes I've seen when it comes to Wesley Snipes movies. Like I said, it was a nice follow-up to Blade. So coming at number 3, Blade 2. Now, I'm pretty sure this will be number 1 on some people's list, but this is my number 2 favorite vampire picture. It's The Lost Boys, and you know this has to be high on everyone's list. You got the 2 Corey Feldmans. You have Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. They're both here. We have Kiefer Sutherland, once again, in one of his first starring roles as the boy vampire band, if you want to call them that. Excellent soundtrack. I actually got some of the songs on one of my playlists right here. It was funny as hell. I mean, how can you play? Oh my God, it's a pretty, it's a blood-sucking Brady Bunch family. That line was funny as hell. I still laugh at it, but that's what makes the Lost Boys such a wonderful '80s horror movie. At the time, he had some good practical effects too. So coming at number 2 is The Lost Boys. And now, my number 1 vampire movie of all time is 30 Days of Night. Yes, 30 Days of Night. I don't think you can get any vampire picture as better as this one. I mean, there are some good ones right there, but this tops the cake. Mainly because of how the story is. You have this town Burroughs in Alaska where for 30 days the sun does not rise. It's totally dark. It's a nice setting, and then you have these vampires come into town. They literally destroyed the town. Josh Hartnett and Melissa Good George, I thought they were pretty good. Danny Houston was good as the lead vampire. Ben Foster as the stranger that comes into town. I thought he was good right there. He got some great practical effects right there. It's a very hard-hitting, very bloody, good vampire picture. I think this is the reason why I put it as my number 1 vampire picture, because when it comes to vampire pictures, you don't get anything better than 30 Days of Night. So there you have it. That's my top 20 vampire picture of all time. I'm pretty sure you might have something different or something similar to what I have. So what are your top 20 vampire pictures? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what are your top 20 vampire pictures of all time, or just do a video like I did. So once again, that's my listen video for the day, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please like and share the video. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Also, all my social media links will be in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.